Ever played a brewery before?
No. I gotta say, this is the first. When we pulled up and I saw the tanks, I was like, wow, how are we ending this tour here? But then the venue is awesome, man. It's cool. The whole thing's an old warehouse or something. It's really cool. We were very excited.
Yeah, it's actually it's one of the oldest breweries in town, and it's like
If you go for it, get the oldest one. They make the best beer, right?
yeah, right. It really is actually good. Ottakringa. Oh, you have it backstage anyway.
Yeah, there's all kinds of beer back there. I'm gonna try and sample one of each before we leave.
You know, the two of us, we did an interview a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
It was Milton Keynes, 1989.
That is a long time ago. That's a lifetime ago, man.
Gee, shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, us rockers, they don't die anymore.
No, you can't kill us. You can't kill us. So you put enough Jack Daniels in anything and it'll preserve you forever.
That was kind of like the breakthrough for Skid Row in Europe, right?
Milton Keynes, for sure. That was the show. I remember it was us. I think it was Vixen Europe and Bon Jovi, correct? And yeah, that broke us wide open over in Europe and the UK. And after that, we did some touring on our own, and we also came back with Motley Crue. And then here we are today, 25 years later, 24, 25, whatever it is, doesn't really matter.
Let's go a bit back in time. I mean, you put out a record and it went straight to #1. Not in the metal charts. It was #1 in the Billboard charts, selling out everybody else.
You know, Slave to the Grind, yeah.
Yeah.
That was, we were actually the first hard rock heavy metal band to debut at #1. And then Van Halen came out next week and ruined it for us. But it's pretty cool to hold that title, you know. There'll never be another first. And it was very cool and very surreal when it happened. I remember we were getting ready. We were in New Jersey for a few days off where we lived at the time, and I was sitting in the back lounge reading a magazine, and Snake came in. He goes, "Hey, man, congratulations, got a #1 record." I'm like, "Yeah, right." He goes, "Just got a phone call at my house, man. It's for real." I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing to say." And you know, the record company saved the page from Billboard and had it framed for us and stuff. So I got it hanging up down in my rehearsal room.
Man, you guys must have had, I don't know, psychiatric treatment after those years. I mean, you were in the center of everything. It really went big time. I mean, the Moscow Peace Festival, big tours with Guns N' Roses. You mentioned Motley Crue.
Yeah.
I mean,
when we came out and we were with a very powerful manager, obviously Doc McGee, and the timing, all the stars seemed to align for us. You know, there were so many big tours going out. We went from Bon Jovi to Motley Crue, went back to the States, went out with Aerosmith, and you know, it just kept rolling like that for us our whole career. And then after we disbanded and got back together, we got on the Kiss tour, the farewell tour, and I'm glad it wasn't their farewell tour because I really love Kiss and I love going to see them every year. So we got on that tour, and it just like things just keep happening for this band, and you know, we're still putting out new music and still touring. Today's the last show of the tour, the co-headline with Ugly Kid Joe, and we have the guys from Dead City Ruins continuing on with us. We got 4 dates on our own in Italy, and they're continuing on with us. But yeah, it's the last day of the actual tour, so it's cool to make new friends. You know, and I know I'll have friends when I go out to LA, and they're part of the world, and same when they come over to the East Coast. So, you know, to still be able to do this after so long and still have fun doing it and still be able to make new music that people are genuinely interested in is it's just big all the way around to be able to say that.
yeah, looking at Mick Jagger, meaning you got another 30, 40 years to go.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, man. He's an inspiration. Whenever I see him on a show and he's just going crazy, the guy's 70 years old and just running around more than most 25-year-olds, I'm like, yeah, I could do this. I could really do this. I hope.
You've mentioned Kiss tour. You also did this Kiss cruise. Tell us a bit about that.
That was fun. We cruises are becoming very popular. Well, there's the cruise that we've done, the Swedish cruise that goes from Stockholm to Helsinki, the 24
I guess they started the whole cruise thing with Mel.
Yeah, I guess. The ones back home are a little longer. They're like 3 to 4 days, you know, and We've done them with Vince Neil, and we've done them, what was it called?
Slaughter was with it.
Yeah, Slaughter, that was the first cruise we ever did. It was Vince Neil and Rat and us and Slaughter, and then, what was the other one? Shiprocked, we did that, and then we did a couple Kiss cruises, and just being a Kiss fan and being able to go see them every night and play acoustically and play in small surroundings without the bombs and everything, I could only imagine that's what it was like to go see Kiss like back in the club days before I even knew who they were, you know, before their first album came out. And I just sit there and watch, and I'm like, man, life is pretty damn good, you know. And it's fun. It's fun to do because you're there literally on vacation with the people that put you in the position to be on vacation in the first place. And you know, would play drinking games with the fans and stuff like that. It's been a lot of fun. We didn't do it this year, obviously, because we're on tour over here, but I'm hoping we get to do it again. Yeah.
It's the United World Rebellion. You already written chapter 2? Is it finished already?
We're working on it. We're trying to decide on songs. We have most of the songs written. We plan on getting in the studio and recording it in the middle of January. Hopefully it'll be out by May. But yeah, we have a lot of songs written for it, and we're very, very psyched about it.
Writing songs must be a different approach now for you, because, you know, after the first Skid Row record, I'm sure every record executive would say, come on, guys, we need another hit record and shit, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, between the first 2 Skid Row records, we grew a lot and things changed so much. We still have, even though we're in our late 40s, we still have that angst inside because there's still people that don't want to see us doing what we're doing, don't want us to succeed at it or be happy about it. And that actually lights a fire inside, you know. That's what people, any band could curse out the people that tried to hold them down, but I don't think they realize how important those people were, because if you had everyone going, oh yeah, you could do it, you could do it, you could do it, you need that resistance. At least I do. I need some kind of resistance to when I get to the other side, I'll just be like, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what we're still doing. We've always taken the stance to stand up for what you believe in and to do whatever you want to do, no matter how stupid somebody thinks it is. And there's so many, it's been proven so many times that if people just back down to the naysayers, that they wouldn't have succeeded. And you know, it's just something we still feel. We totally feel it, and that's what we write about, and that's what the whole United World Rebellion is about.
There's a third singer now in Skid Row. Johnny's the third singer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was wondering what happened to Matt Fallon. I mean, he must have committed suicide.
No, I don't know.
That wouldn't surprise me.
No, I don't live in New Jersey anymore. I know last time I saw him, it was in New Jersey, and it was after the first album came out. But you know, Matt was a good guy. He just, I don't think he really wanted it as bad as we did. You know what I mean? And that's not saying it's wrong or right, but this was a no holds barred. We were, you know, determined, and I don't think that's totally what he wanted to do.
Well, he came from Anthrax. I mean, someone has to realize that. He was in Anthrax before they got big. You know?
Yeah, he did. I always forget about that he was in Anthrax. That's right. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah. Gee. Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about Johnny. I mean, it's one thing to find a new singer that fits the band, you know, but the other thing is he's a country singer, you know. Wasn't that a bit of a thought in the back?
He's a country singer second. Yeah. You know, he's a rock and roller by nature. You know, he grew up in the southern United States where it's very crossover, you know. But his type of country isn't, and this is no slight on anyone, but isn't Garth Brooks or Shania Twain. He likes Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash. He likes the outlaw country stuff, Chris Christopherson, stuff like that. That's the thing he likes.
He's doing solo as well, right?
Occasionally. He's done a record or two, you know, around our time and whatever. But he's a rock and roll singer, obviously. Otherwise, we wouldn't have kept him.
Yeah, of course. No, fits great. I think, and you see the fans react to that. Fitz great voice, and I'm looking forward to see him sing live tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one thing that, of course, you have to play the old songs, but we talked about Mick Jagger. If he doesn't play Satisfaction or some,
well, we have no problem playing the old songs. It's not like we look at them and go, well, Johnny wasn't in the band when we did that. That's part of what made us who we are, and we wrote them. So it's like to ignore them would be like having 15 kids and ignoring the first 6. You know what I mean? It's like, we're just gonna play with the new kids until they get old, and then we're not. And it's what made our career. It built the band to where we are today, and it's something we love doing. I love playing Youth Gone Wild. I'll be 100 years old. I'll still love playing Youth Gone Wild.
I have to ask that Gary Moore story.
That's been coming up a lot lately. I don't even know where it came from.
Because he died just recently,
Right. Evidently, as folklore has it, we bought the name off of Gary Moore.
Yep.
That never
35 grand or some.
Oh, there's a number now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's 35 grand. Well, that never happened. I don't know where that story developed. However, when we were kids growing up, there was no internet. The only way you could get anything from overseas was at, for me anyway, I had to drive an hour north to a store called, Rock and Roll Heaven, I think. And I'd get imports. They were never a name in the United States, and we had never heard of Skid Row until our first album came out. When someone had mentioned, there was it wasn't even put to us as Gary Moore. It's like the guy from Thin Lizzy had a band called Skid Row, and we're like, right now it's a side project. What's gonna happen? Like, oh no, it was like in the '60s. We're like, the first album's on the shelves. People are buying it. What are we gonna do here? But it wasn't trademarked, and we had a trademark. There was a guy, though, in the Midwest, and he was a lounge singer, and he was an older guy. I guess he was like in his 70s, and he had used the name, first name Skid, last name Row, and he was kind of like singer, one-man band type of thing, and he had the trademark on Skid Row. So we got in touch with him, and he's like, I'm getting to retire anyway. So he goes, you should go for it and let it last. And so that's the only person that we did any kind of dealings with for the name. That's really funny. That has come up so much lately, like in this past 6 months. It's come up at least 10, 15 times.
Have ever had the chance to have a laugh with Gary Moore himself on this?
No. All I know is that in a magazine he said, I never gave him permission to use the name, blah, 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 that we never had this conversation. So I thought it was over and done with when he said that. Yeah. And we had already owned the trademark. Snake and I own the trademark to the name.
Fans should know, because it says Park Avenue leads to Skid Row.
There you go.
There you go. That's where the name comes from, man.
Yeah. So, Skid Row was like anywhere, different states in the U.S., Skid Row was like the bad part of town. And we looked at each other when we came up with the name. We had tape holding our shoes together. We had holes in our jeans, and we're like, that's the perfect name. As we're driving to rehearsal, as I'm watching my gas gauge on empty, I'm like, man, we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it, MULATSCHAG, okay. Hey, this is Rachel Bolan from Skid Row. You're watching MULATSCHAG, the only TV you will ever need.
Cool. Excellent.
Thanks
a lot.
Oops, sorry.
No problem.
Adultery with your hair. Good seeing you, brother.
MULATSCHAG!